83% of men wearing a suit for the first time look worse than they would look wearing a t-shirt and jeans. But don't worry, I'm about to teach you how to look like James Bond rather than like an 18-year-old kid wearing his first prom suit. I will not only provide you with a full guide on what to consider when buying your first suit, but I will also show you how to create outfits with examples. And stick around until the end, as I will provide you with 10 suit wearing mistakes that you should avoid, like your 15-year-old cousin avoids tucking in his shirt at family dinners. I am Stefan Dobrescu and welcome back to the Gentlemen's Secrets Show, where you learn the secrets of yesterday to become the gentleman of tomorrow. If you would like your question answered in a future episode, make sure to comment down below or send me a DM at gentlemens.order on Instagram. Now, on with the show. There is a huge difference of attractiveness between a man in a t-shirt and jeans and a man wearing a suit. But there is an even bigger difference between a man in a suit and a man in an amazing suit. You may have noticed that some men look great while wearing a suit. They turn heads, they look confident, while others look like McLovin. The difference is huge, but the solution is very simple. About 10 years ago, I wanted to get my first suit for the prom. I was in the 8th grade and I wanted to impress everyone by looking like James Bond. So I went to Massimo Dutti with my dad and I told him I want a black suit, to which he responded no. You should never get a black suit, especially as your first one. Because there's only two reasons why someone should wear a black suit. One, if they're going to a funeral. And two, if they're a security guard. I'm very grateful that he did not let me get that black suit and instead I went for a dark gray one. But color is only one aspect, and today we are going to discuss many other aspects that you consider when buying your first suit. Let's start with a common false belief. You might think that the first suit you should ever get should be black. After all, even Steve Harvey said it. Never go for black for your first suit. Better options include gray, dark gray, navy, or even brown, but never black. And since a lot of men go for navy with their first suit, I would recommend you to go for gray or dark gray, depending on your preference. And now you might be wondering, what about black tie events? You should not wear a black suit either way, because at black tie events, you are expected to dress in black tie attire. That means a tuxedo or a dinner jacket. In no way a normal black suit. Now let's go over the fabrics that you should be wearing. Wool is by far the most popular suit fabric. And it's also the most versatile. Meaning you can also wear it in the summer, but you can wear it even in the winter. Next up we have cotton, which is great for summers, not so great for winters. It's also more casual than wool. Linen is just as casual as cotton, but I would say even a better option for summer days. Because it's very breathable. You will not sweat as much when wearing a linen suit. Velvet is something I personally would not wear if you're considering a full bodysuit. If you're only considering dinner jacket, then that's a whole other story. Seersucker is another option that you might have for summer days. And I'm personally not a big fan of the material. I don't like how it looks necessarily, but a lot of men love seersucker. So if you're into summery fabrics, that's definitely another option. Tweed and flannel are great for autumn and winter. So if you're looking for a suit that you want to buy for the colder seasons, I would really go for flannel. Tweed is a bit more on the casual side. Well, flannel is as well if you're comparing it to wool, for example, but tweed is very casual. Also, if you want to look like a Peaky Blinder, go for flannel. It's the next suit on my list that I want to get. There are 3 different types of suits that you should be considering. The first is a 2-piece. This is by far the most common one. You've probably seen them all around. You also have a 3-piece, which is a bit more formal than a 2-piece suit, but not by that much. You also have a double-breasted suit. Now, these are a lot more rare these days. I would say not a lot of men wear double-breasted suits. Right now, I am wearing a double-breasted suit. And it's definitely a power move. It doesn't look great on everyone, but if it looks great on you and if you can pull it off confidently, I would say it's a great investment. Now let's go over the details when it comes to the jacket. Starting off with the bigger details, let's talk about the buttons. When it comes to single-breasted suits, you can either go with 1, 2, or 3 buttons. 1 button should only be for black tie. 2 buttons is the most popular form and the one I would be recommending you to go for. 3 buttons are a bit more vintage, they're not as popular nowadays, but they are still a viable option. You could also go for a 3 roll 2 button suit, which basically means that only the first two buttons should be taken into consideration. Meanwhile, the third one, the higher one, is a bit hidden by the lapel. That one should never be buttoned. Moving on to the back. Here we can either go for a ventless jacket, one vent, or double vented. Most suits, especially in Europe, are double vented. In America, I think single vented are a bit more popular, but I'm not quite sure. I would recommend you to go for a double vented suit. They are the most flexible and they look the best in my personal opinion. You can also go for a single vented jacket, but never go for a no vent jacket if you're not buying a dinner jacket. If you're going for black tie, then no vented is probably your best option. When it comes to pockets, you have four main options. Going by most casual to most formal, we have patch pockets, we have flap pockets, we have angled pockets, and then the most formal option, we have jetted or besom pockets. You might have also seen the ticket pockets. Those are more popular in the past because men would often store their train tickets in that pocket, but they're not as popular nowadays, and that pocket is mostly used for decoration. If you're going for a sports coat, I would recommend you go for either patch or flap pockets. If you're going for a suit, especially if it's a more formal suit, a business suit, I would go for either flap or jetted pockets. The lapel width is extremely important. If you're going too short, you will look like you're straight out of the 60s. If you're going too long, you will look comical. A good lapel size is about 3 to 3.5 inch. That's about, I think, 8 to 9 centimeters. Of course, if you're wearing peak lapels, the lapel should also be a bit wider. If you're wearing a double-breasted suit, then again it should be a bit on the wider side. I would recommend going for rather wider lapels than slimmer ones. And the lapel type is also something that should be discussed. There's 3 lapel types that you should know. The notch lapel, which is the least formal, the peak lapel, which is more formal, and then the shawl collar, which should only be found on dinner jackets and on tuxedo jackets. My favorite choice is to go for peak lapels. They're much more masculine and they're kind of a power play. Harvey Specter from the TV show Suits wears almost exclusively peak lapels. The gorge is this line right here where the collar meets the lapels. If it's more towards your chest, it's a more vintage model. More modern suits have a gorge that's slightly higher up because a slightly higher up gorge tends to elevate the shoulders, while a gorge that's lower tends to elevate the chest. Now, next up we have some smaller details that are maybe not as noticeable. For example, the buttons. Buttons can either be made out of plastic or of a higher quality material such as mother of pearl. If you have the option, I will always go for mother of pearl rather than plastic. It just shows that the suit is of a higher quality. The coat lining is also very important. It's a part of the suit that is almost never seen, but you also need to take the fabric into account. You see, most of the rack suits have polyester or synthetic linings. If you can go for a better fabric, I would definitely advise you to do so. When it comes to the construction of the suit, you have 3 main options. Full canvas, which is the highest quality, but also the most expensive. Half canvas, which I would recommend you to go for with most suits. Or fused, which is the cheapest, but also the least durable. Suits with a fused build will last far less time than a canvas suit. I would not recommend you to go for unconstructed suit jackets because they're much more casual than canvased ones. Now, when considering the pants, there are 4 main things that you should be keeping in mind. One of them is the rise. Yet again, you have 3 main options. You have low rise, mid, or high rise. I would recommend you to go for either mid or high waisted pants. Why? Because low rise pants simply don't look as good as the other options. Not only that, but they're also more casual. And that's because, traditionally speaking, suit pants were of a higher rise. Low-rise pants are a more modern invention and therefore more casual. Now, if we're talking about an off-the-rack suit, this is really not up to you. But if you're building your own suit, you should always pay attention to the way your pants are fastened. You have yet again 3 main options. You can either go for belt loops, which is the most casual one and the most modern, just like with the Rise. You can also go for side adjusters, which is a much more fashionable choice, or you could go for suspender buttons. You can even combine them. I like to have both side adjusters and suspender buttons on my pants so that I can choose whichever method I like in that particular day. I would personally have both types of pants in my wardrobe. I would also have belt ones and I will also have side adjuster ones, but that's totally up to you. Now let's talk about the break of the pant, and that basically describes how long the pant is. You have full break, you have half break, or even quarter break, or you have no break at all. What a full break is, it means that there's a bit of material towards the bottom of your pant, whereas a no break means that the pant is in a very straight line and stops right at your shoes. The option you may choose to go for, again, depends entirely on you. But keep in mind that a full break is the more traditional choice, whereas a no break is more modern. There are so many creative and, more importantly, attractive outfits that you can create with a suit as a base. In today's video, I'm going to give you 10 outfit examples, show you how to recreate them, and also tell you why they work. When I was younger and first getting into style, I always used to wear the same outfit every single day. A navy blazer, navy chinos, and a white shirt or t-shirt, it depended. This got old so fast, yet for about 4 or 5 years, I would wear this outfit constantly every single day. And that is boring. Replace it with a suit and it's just as boring. It's only recently, about 2 or 3 years ago, that I found out that you can make so many amazing outfits with a suit that are not just a suit, a white shirt, and dress shoes. Here are 10 that I loved when seeing them on Instagram that I want to share with you. First off, let's start off with some monochromatic outfits. And this doesn't mean wearing all black or all white or whatever kids nowadays wear. No, it means picking a color and then choosing multiple shades of that color to create an outfit. The guy wearing this outfit has a navy suit with peak lapels, very nice, a navy tie that seems to be in the same shade as the suit, and a powder blue shirt that complements the suit very well. And this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't even have to be navy. It can also be brown, cream, it can be gray, any of those colors. Going for a monochromatic outfit, especially if it's not on navy, will make you stand out from the rest. Next up, you could also go for just one color and one non-color, as you can see in this outfit that I wore this year at PT Uomo. Here I'm wearing just brown, but that brown is combined with white. It's very easy to recreate, yet something that will stay in the mind of those who see you. In this next outfit, you can see something that I love to do whenever I create an outfit myself, and that is to match colors. As you can see, this gentleman is wearing a light brown suit, but he's matching that brown suit with a green tie and a green umbrella. You can see how well the umbrella and the tie match. It's about small details like this, It's about having an item of a certain color at the top of your outfit and then having the same item somewhere else in your outfit of the same color. In this next outfit by Hunter Vought, you can see that you don't always have to wear a single-breasted suit. A double-breasted suit will most often look even more masculine and more dominant on you. So it's a choice that I often make, as you can see even with the one I'm wearing right now. He's wearing a navy suit with a striped shirt and a navy tie. And he's pairing that up with a camel coat. It's an incredible outfit. And if you're tired of ties, try saying that 10 times. If you're tired of ties, you can also go for an ascot tie, which is something that Dr. Roger, the gentleman, does perfectly in this post. And now he's pairing a tan suit with a white shirt and a brown ascot. And it's definitely not something that a lot of men would dare do. It's not something very modern, and it's something that does require a certain level of confidence. But if you can pull it off, I would definitely go for it. And who even needs a tie? As you can see in this outfit, Marco is not even wearing one. You can wear a suit with just a shirt and no tie, as long as you don't unbutton more than maximum 3 buttons, I would say. Even though even that might be a bit pushing it. I would go for unbuttoning 2 buttons, and if you're in Italy, a 3rd one goes as well. And sometimes you don't even need a shirt. In this next outfit by Ben Brewster, you can see how pairing a suit with a turtleneck sweater is a great combination, especially for fall or even winter seasons. Now, if you want to do this perfectly, I would advise you to pick one color, for example, navy, brown, gray, And then the turtleneck sweater should be a darker shade of that color, meanwhile your suit should be a lighter one. That one works perfectly. And now you might be wondering, what's the summer alternative to this? Well, in this other outfit by Marco that you can see, he's wearing a suit with a polo shirt. And this is definitely a more controversial type of outfit. Some men might not like pairing a polo with a suit. I personally was also of this impression in the past. But it works very well, as you can see. And it's perfect for summer days, especially because you can take the jacket off and you can just stay in the polo with the pants. Meanwhile, speaking of sweaters, in this outfit by Ralph Lauren, you can observe how adding a sweater can create a more preppy type of outfit, especially if the colors match. You might have seen the terms dark academia on the internet, and this is how you create a dark academia outfit. Just add a sweater over your shirt and tie and chef's kiss. And last but not least, it's something that might also be a bit controversial in the sartorial world, and that is a very nice word in Italian called spezzato. Spezzato, translated in English, means the broken suit, and that basically means wearing a different jacket with different pants from two separate suits. Now, some might be against this, but I personally always do it and love doing it. And this is especially great, not only because it looks amazing, but it's also great when you don't have that many suits. Because, for example, let's say you have 5 suits, but that all work well together. For example, they're all neutral color suits, because all neutral colors work well together. Then you don't have 5 suits anymore, because you can combine either jacket with either pair of pants. You create multiple outfits and they look amazing, as you can see in this picture. Hey there, if you're enjoying this show, why not take a minute to like, subscribe and ring the bell to be notified whenever we upload a new video. Also, let me know down in the comments below who your favorite content creator in the style niche is. I personally love Ask Oki and Gentlemen's Gazette on YouTube and the work of Hunter Vought on Instagram. Let me know in the comments. Right here, right now, it's time for you to make a decision. The next time you're wearing a suit, do you want to look like a confident and masculine gentleman? Or do you want to look like a kid who just took his father's suit to prom? You know, when I first started wearing suits, people used to have a very different reaction to me than they have nowadays. I was being looked down upon as that kid who's trying too hard to impress others. Compare that to nowadays, when I literally have women coming up to me in public and telling me how good I look. I want you to become the former rather than the latter. And in today's video, I'm going to be showing you 10 suit mistakes that make you unattractive. Mistake number 1, wearing the wrong size or an ill-fitting suit. Look, it doesn't have to be made to measure. It doesn't have to be bespoke. You don't have to spend a bunch of money when buying your suit. But what it does have to is fit you well. And you might be saying that the well-fitting suit will cost you a lot, and that's absolutely not true. Look, some of us are lucky enough to fall in the standard measurements, but some of us might need a lot more adjustments. What's important is that the next time you buy a suit, go get it tailored. It should not cost that much and the results should be more noticeable. Mistake number 2, following either trends or outdated details. Now, when buying a suit, you should always aim for timelessness. There might be certain trends that you're inclined to follow. I see many young men wearing skinny suits or even baggy ones. No. Always be sure to avoid those. Because if you're going for timelessness, you're gonna get a suit that you're not gonna wear just now, you're gonna wear it for the next 10, maybe even 20 years. And also, this is a personal pet peeve of mine. Be careful with the lapels. Don't go too skinny and also don't go too wide, but I haven't really seen that often. It's more often guys with very skinny lapels that just look clownish. Wear regular sized lapels. And what that basically means, it's about 3 to 3.5 inches, and that's about 8, 9, even 10 centimeters. Obviously, if you're wearing a double-breasted suit or peak lapels, they're gonna be a bit wider, and if they're notched lapels, they can be a bit slimmer, but not skinny, never skinny. And if your question is, how do you know if it's a trend or if it's timeless? There's basically 2 ways of figuring that out. One, you can wait, and you can see if in 2 years from now, people are still gonna be wearing that. The second one is much faster. You can basically just go online and see what people were wearing 5, 10, 50 years ago. Mistake number 3 is wearing cheap fabrics. I advise you to steer clear of polyester. Polyester and other synthetic fabrics made out of plastic often contain BPA, which is highly toxic to humans. And not only that, but you can also spot a cheap plastic suit from a mile away. And suits are something that you should be investing in. You should be saving up and buying a good suit. One quality suit is worth 10 mediocre ones. So definitely save money and invest in it. It's a piece that should last you a quarter, maybe even half a century. Mistake number 4, trying to mix and match. You see, back about 100 years ago when suits first came to be, a suit was a garment made of 2 pieces or even 3, pants, vest, and jacket made from the same fabric, material, and texture. Nowadays, a lot of people are combining suit separates, which is called spezzato, which is something I often encourage people to do. That being said, that's very different from mixing and matching, because you're not trying to pass it as one. You're not trying to say that the jacket and the pants are from the same suit because they're both navy, even though it's plain to see that they're slightly different tones. There's a very big difference between a guy wearing a brown jacket and cream pants and a guy wearing navy pants and navy jackets from 2 different suits. One of them should be done, the other one should be avoided because it looks cheap. It basically looks like you went to the market and you saw this jacket and these pants. They were in slightly similar colors and you said that nobody would notice. Don't do that. Mistake number 5, not knowing button etiquette. Now, this is one way to instantly know if someone knows anything about style. Whenever I see men wearing suit jackets with both buttons buttoned up, I know that they have absolutely no clue what they're doing. The lowest button should never be buttoned. The rule is basically, when it comes to 2 buttons, never, always. And when it comes to 3 buttons, never, always, sometimes. And when it comes to 3-roll 2 buttons, never, always, never. Now, when it comes to double-breasted jackets, that's a bit more complicated, but that's a topic for an entire different video. You should also know about sitting down. If you're sitting down in a single-breasted jacket, you should always unbutton all of your buttons. If you're sitting down in a double-breasted one, you don't have to unbutton anything. This whole thing with how many buttons you should fasten came from King Edward VII, who was too fat and therefore he had to unbutton the last button of his jacket. But it's a tradition that was kept, and nowadays you should definitely follow it. Mistake number 6, wearing the wrong socks. Now, let's get something clear from the start. White socks should never go with suits. White socks belong in the gym. That being said, should you match the socks to the pants or not? I would personally say yes, always match the socks to the pants. There are those who might wear crazy socks. And there are those who might wear yellow or orange or red socks with a normal suit. It's not my thing. I don't think it's necessarily a fashion error, but I would personally not do it, as traditionally you should match your socks to your pants. Also, make sure that your leg is never seen. You can basically achieve that by wearing those socks that go all the way to your calf rather than the small ones. I will go for that if you can. Mistake number 7, wearing sneakers with your suit. Now, this is a common mistake that I see so many guys make, but please don't do it. When it comes to a suit, it's probably the most formal attire you will ever wear in your life. So why would you pair it with the most casual pair of shoes? When you go with a suit, either go all the way or don't go at all. And if for whatever reason you do want to wear sneakers with a suit, at least make them more formal type of sneakers. Make them leather or white sneakers. Never in a million years wear sports sneakers, gym sneakers, Converse with a suit. That looks awful. Mistake number 8 is not wearing a proper fitting shirt. What I mean by that is that your sleeves should always come out of the sleeves of your jacket. By how much? About 1 centimeter is enough. That's about half to a quarter of an inch. Mistake number 9, leaving the stitching in. A lot of young guys make this when wearing their first suit simply because they don't know any better. The stitching on both the vents, the sleeves, and the shoulders should go right before you wear the suit for the first time. You get home with your suit after you bought it, take all of them out. They're only there to show that the suit has never been worn before. So if you're planning on selling it after wearing it about 100 times, fine, don't take the stitching off. But if you're planning on wearing it because you like the suit and not because you want to make a quick buck afterwards, take the stitching off. What I personally do is not take away the stitching of the pockets, because that way they don't expand. But do take away the stitching of your chest pocket, because you will want the pocket square there. And the final mistake is always wearing the same outfit with your suit. Look, just because you're wearing a suit, it doesn't mean it has to be boring. It doesn't mean you have to wear the same suit, the same shirt, the same tie, the same pants, the same shoes, every single time. Be creative with it. There's so many combinations, there's so many outfits you can create. You can even check this video out in which I show you 10 outfits you can create with a suit. But being stylish is not only about suits. Men's style is so versatile and there's so many ways in which you can appear more high status and more attractive. To learn more about that, check last episode in which we have discussed how to look high status during the summer, which brands you should absolutely avoid because they're scamming you out of money and they're low quality, and how to stay fresh from 9 to 5 with 10 easy trips.